Hello everyone, welcome to FrontEndFunn. In this video we will carry on with the form input elements and text areas. Okay, we will also discuss different types of input styles available in material.io. So before we begin, I am running two terminals here. So inside one terminal, I am on text field branch 10_2 text field branch, and I am running the dev server here. So dev server is up and running. Okay. And inside the second terminal we will be installing the dependencies using npm. Okay, so npm -d install -D. We will also use jQuery, so I am installing jQuery, and at the rate material slash floating -label, and at the rate material slash line -ripple, at the rate material slash notched outline, and at the rate material slash text field. So that's it. So let's install this. So I'll be back once the installation is completed. So there were some errors installing the package because I have misspelled the word here and also here. So the correct packages are these four. Okay, so make sure you install the correct packages and without any typos there. Okay, so let's begin now. So before we begin, inside our styles.css, let's import a custom font. I'm making use of a custom Google font here, and assign the font to a font family variable here. Okay, so body, I'm setting the font family variable to font family, and I'm going to use some classes here. TextArea center and .mb margin bottom 20 pixel. Okay, so let's import the package we have installed. Import @material slash text field slash mdc hyphen text hyphen field. Okay, @import @material slash floating -label slash mdc hyphen floating -label. Okay, import @material slash line -ripple slash mdc hyphen line -ripple. So these are the packages we installed. @material slash notched outline NOTCHED outline slash mdc hyphen notched outline. So that's it. So we have installed all the packages. We inputted all the classes inside our styles.css. Okay, so let's quickly jump to index.html, and first let me create a h1 with the class of text-center material.io input elements. Okay, so if I save this, as you can see, we are having a h1 here. Okay, first let's create a div with the class of mb, that is we are applying some margin bottom. Next, inside this mb I am going to write another div with the class of MB and standard text fields. Okay, so I'm going to create a wrapper div with a class of field container. So this wraps all the input elements, and I'm going to write another div. This is a custom class here, default width. So all the classes inside this default width will be having a default width of the size, input element size here. Okay, so I'm going to create another custom class, so div with the class of text field, and inside this text field we'll be having all the input elements here. Okay, so to create a text field we need to add a div with the class of mdc-text-field, and we need to write an input element here, input type equal to text, and we need to add a class here. So the class is mdc-text-field __ input. Okay, so this is a subclass, that is the reason we are using underscores here. And let me give this an ID of txt1. Okay, next we will write a label tag, label for txt1, and this label should contain a class again. The class name is mdc-text-field mdc-floating-label. So this acts as a floating label. So when we click on this input element, the text moves upwards. Okay, standard text field. So if I save this, as you can see, we are having a standard text field with a label. Okay, to activate this label we need to use JavaScript here, and before that let me add a ripple effect also, so that we can initialize both the animations at a time. So to add a ripple effect we need to make use of a line ripple, div with a class of line ripple. Okay, as you can see there is no effect now. So let's quickly jump to JavaScript file and we'll import mdc floating label from @material floating label and import. So I'll make use of intel sense @material/line ripple, and if I come here and press control space, so I'll be getting a class directly. Okay, so import from @material/notched_outline, and similarly if I come here and press space, the class is imported automatically. From @material/text-field control space mdc text field. Okay, so let's also import jQuery, import asterisk as $. So we are importing everything from jQuery, slash. So I'm making use of a min version here. Okay, so we have installed the package. So let's see how to apply, how to initialize these elements using JavaScript. Okay, so let's begin with document.ready. function, assuming that every MDC text field will contain an input label and an line ripple. What I'm going to do is I'll target the MDC text field div, and I'm making use of an each function here. So we'll apply this for each and every MDC text field. Okay, so I'm naming it as text field. So this becomes a handler for MDC text field. Okay, so we'll initialize the MDC text field and pass the text field DOM element directly. So let floating label is equal to text field dot find. So we are finding the label within the text field. So text field dot find dot MDC hyphen floating hyphen label of 0. So without this we will be having a jQuery DOM object. By placing of 0 we will be getting the element directly. Okay, and similarly let's create a handler for line ripple also. Line ripple equal to text field dot find dot MDC hyphen line hyphen ripple of 0, and also let NOUTCHED outline equal to, so we haven't written this class yet, but we'll discuss, dot find dot MDC hyphen NOTCHED hyphen line. So I made a typo again. Okay, so right now we are having handler for each of the elements here. Now let's initialize, I of 0. Okay, so let's initialize them. So we can initialize them directly by using new MDC floating label and pass the floating label. Okay, so similarly you can directly pass MDC line ripple and pass the line ripple here. So we'll discuss about notched outline. So if I save, as you can see, when I click on this, the text field jumps to top. Okay, so what if we are having an, because every text field will be having an input, this is mandatory element. So what if we are having only input element? So I'm just commenting the label as well as the line ripple here. So right now the text field contains only the input element. So if I click on this, as you can see, we are having error already, and if I inspect the element, as you can see, we are having this error. So to avoid such situations, what we can do is, you can just write an if element here, if loop. So if we are having a floating label, then we need to initialize. Similarly, if we are having a line ripple, then we can initialize the ripple effect there. Okay, so right now we are not having any errors here. Fine. I'm just uncommenting these two labels, these two elements here, the label and the MDC line ripple. Okay, so if I click on this, as you can see, we are having this cool effect. So the next thing we are going to see is what if we want to add some helper text to these elements. So to do that, I'm just making a copy of this text field and pasting it here again and save. Okay, so we need to add, let me change this ID first. So we need to add a paragraph after the text field here. So inside the text field, outside the MDC text field here, so we need to add a paragraph element and we need to give it an ID equal to txt2 hyphen helper. Okay, and we need to add a class here, MDC hyphen text field hyphen helper text. Okay, and we need to give a area attribute area hyphen hidden equal to true. So this is some helper text here, and we need to add some attributes to this input element also. So here we need to specify the area attributes. So area controls equal to txt2 hyphen helper and area described by equal to text field helper. So as you can see, if I focus, I'll be getting this helper text. So let me style these elements. So coming to my style.css, I'll target the field container and make it display as flex and flex direction to column. So we are having a default width class here. So default width display flex and flex wrap to wrap. Okay, this is just for styling the element so that it is visible clearly for you people. So you don't need to do all these things. So margin left 10 pixel, margin right 10 pixel and margin bottom 20 pixel. So if I save, as you can see, we are having a text fields here. Okay, so we have seen the text field with helper text. The next thing we are going to see is with icons. So I'm just going to cdnjs.com and type material here and copying the link and pasting it here. Okay, so I'm just copying the CDN link. Next I'll make a copy of this and paste it here. So what if we need a leading icon? So to create a leading icon, we need to write a modifier class on this input element, input text field. So the class name is mdc hyphen text hyphen field hyphen with hyphen leading hyphen icon. So with leading icon. the icon should go before the input dot material hyphen icons, and we need to add a class here mdc hyphen text field underscore underscore icon and say Android. Okay, as you can see we are having a leading icon here. Fine. And the next type is, what if we want a trailing icon? That is, we want the icon at the end. So we will replace this leading with trailing. Okay, as you can see we are having icon at the end. So similarly we can write two elements here. I am just making a copy of this Android and pasting it after the input. Okay, so I am going to add both the classes mdc hyphen text field with trailing icon as well as leading icon. So if I save, as you can see we are having both the leading and trailing icons. Fine. The next category is the full width. So we have seen the default width. So I'm coming out of the default with div, and let me create a div with the class of full width. Okay, full full width. Fine. This will also be containing the same, but I'll get rid of these icons first and these two classes here, and also I'll get rid of this helper text. Okay, this is a basic standard input element. Okay, so to make it a full width we need to add a modifier class, that is mdc hyphen text field hyphen hyphen full hyphen width, full width. So as you can see we are having a full width. So if I type here, as you can see the label overlaps the text here. So this won't be happening in case of default width. This happens only in the case of full width. So what the material.io recommends is not to use the label tag, instead make use of a placeholder. Placeholder text. So now if I start typing, the placeholder text just goes off. Okay, so these are different standard default types of material.io input elements. The next thing is the text area. So I'll just come out of this field container completely, and I'm just adding a div with class of text areas. So this is my custom class. Here we need to create a div with class of text field and text field mdc hyphen ield mdc dot mdc text field hyphen hyphen full width and mdc hyphen text field hyphen hyphen text area. Okay, so this div should contain the TextArea element, that is TextArea, and we'll remove this name property. So I'll add a TextArea as an ID, and we need to give it a class. I'll just get rid of this calls and rows also, and we need to give it a class, that is mdc hyphen text field underscore underscore input. Okay, so if I save, as you can see, we are having a TextArea. Next we need to give a label for TextArea, and the same class, that is mdc hyphen floating hyphen label, and I'm just giving some standard value. Okay, as you can see, the TextArea also contains a label. So this is the TextArea. So the next type of elements we are having is the outline elements. So to create an outline, what we need to do is, I'll just make a copy of this complete field container. Let me copy this. And let me write a HR. As you can see, these are the second part, this is the first part. Okay, so to create an outline effect on these elements, outline text field, okay, we need to add a modifier class on this div, that is mdc hyphen text hyphen field hyphen outlined. Okay, so if I type outline, as you can see, we don't see any outline on this element. So to create this outline, what we need to do is, I'll change the ID first to make it 6. We no longer require this mdc ripple, so we'll add a div with a class of mdc hyphen invert notch outline. Okay, we need to write an svg inside this and give the path a class of notch outline path, and we need to initialize this. So this is where we'll initialize inside JavaScript. If notch outline, then new mdc notch outline of notch outline. Okay, and we need to add one more div here with the class of dot mdc hyphen notched hyphen outline underscore underscore idle. As you can see, the idle field adds these rounded corners, and when we click on this, we'll be having this cool outline effect on this element. Okay, similarly, we can add the same class to this second element, that is mdc text field hyphen outline, and we need to remove this ripple effect and add these two divs here. Okay, div with the class of outline and outline underscore idle. So if we add this element and save, as you can see, we are having a standard text field with an helper text. Okay. Similarly, I'll get rid of this ripple and paste it here and add a modifier class here. It is mdc hyphen text hyphen field hyphen hyphen outlined. So now we are having a outlined text field. Okay. So similarly, you can carry on with these other elements. So that's it. I have pushed this branch to the repo. You can find the GitHub repo link in the description below and switch between the branches and experiment with this. We'll meet again in another tutorial. Take care.